This is not the plan I had for today, is it, Estrid? This is not what we had planned. So let's make our way out the field here. Come on then, monkey. Good girl. So on Tuesday, Estrid and I had a bit of a tumble in the school. She got spooked by something. She tripped as she was spooking, and then she went kind of towards the fence line, found a soft bit in the school, so she like fell into the surface, which turned her trip into a fall. I went over the front. She was like flailing everywhere, but she was so good. She didn't step on me. How? I don't know, because when I fell off and looked up, all I could see was her hooves and her nose. So how she didn't step on me, I don't know, but she didn't. And she just got up and stood right next to me, and there was no drama. She wasn't like shaking, she wasn't being silly. It was so lovely, and that experience almost made me love her more, because you're a good girl, weren't you? Yes. And then on Friday, she has overreach boots on in the field when it's this muddy, because the clagginess of the mud can mean they don't get the front foot out the way quick enough and can take off shoes. Normally she doesn't lose an overreach boot, but the mud, I tell you, this is a good bit, is so claggy, and it dried out a little bit on Friday, so it was even like stickier, and she'd lost both her overreach boots, which she hasn't done ever. So she was either running around in the field or had got her front legs stuck in the mud, quite literally. And she came in with some heat in her leg and just not moving like is normal for Estrid. So after her fall, her back was a little bit sore, but she was all right. And then obviously coupled with that on Friday, I was meant to be going to our first competition of the season today, but I just wasn't happy with the way she was moving or how her back felt. So rather than risk her, I just thought, let's withdraw. It does mean we lose our entry fee, but Estrid is more important than that. So yeah, today was meant to be our first vet gated ride, but instead I'm going to give her a bit of a pamper session, cold hose her leg, give her a massage, cool, like I've got like a arnica cooling gel that we'll put on the legs after, and just give her a bit of TLC before turning her back out. Now, if she was like proper hopping lame, or there was a really obvious injury, I think I would stable her. But she tends to not settle in the stable, and I think she'd do more harm than good. So even though the ground is super claggy in the field, and it might be like pulling a little bit for her, I think it's the better of our two options at the moment. But we'll see how she goes. She's no worse 2 days later, so that's a good sign, and there's no obvious like swelling or anything or obvious reaction. So we'll give you a little test again, see how we're doing. First things first, let's get as much of this mud off as we can. Into the wash box, Estrid. Legs washed, huh? Back in the stable so she can have a munch while I pick out her feet and groom her. First things first, huh? Yeah? Good girl. Then a bit of a massage, bit of an assessment and massage. She's a yes, I'll just carry on eating here, thanks. Please. Good girl. This one. back in the wash box just because the little pony that's on the yard is next door to Estrid's stable, and the little girl that shares riding with her has just turned up, and just the extra noise and stuff is making Estrid like want to see what's going on and a bit more on edge, so it's difficult to then assess. So I come back in the wash box, so hopefully she can relax more, because she can see more here than she can out of when she's tied in the stable. So now we're going to do a bit of a joint range of motion assessment. It is the left fore that is warm and she's sore on, so we'll just do all four, make sure everything else, because things will compensate as well. So little assessment so that I have a, well, I've already done the baseline, but every few days I do it again so we can see how she's doing, if anything changes. Okay. What's going on? Hello. Once I've done range of motion in her legs, I like to then have a feel of the muscle in her like neck, back and bum. So, like we're quite tight through here. This is nice. And then once I've done like a bit of an assessment, your rug's been leaking through the neck. And this is where she was a little bit sore after our tumble, and you can tell she still is a little bit through there. Like right here. Okay. Isn't that nice? Okay, once I've done my kind of hands-on initial assessment, we've got full range everywhere, but I would say we're a little clunky in the left knee and fetlock. It's not, the quality of movement isn't as good. And she's a little bit sore on the right shoulder and pec, probably from compensating. A little bit on the left of her back, and then she's quite tight on the right hamstring, which again probably compensating. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my equilibrium massage pads on her and get a massage roller to do her glutes and her hamstrings while that's on, to give her like an initial warm up, get the muscles ready to do a little bit more hands on. Yes, little pamper time. We'll give you some hay as well. Put you on, high, tuck you away, in you go, you want to go, and tuck you back in. I've got this little massage roller mitt thing, and I just do it in sections, so I start up on the glutes, and I keep going up and down. And then I have like a timer on to move on to each new section. Butt done, yes, and back warmed up. So now I want to do a bit more kind of like specific work with my hand across her back. Is that nice? Actually, it's already feeling better than it did pre-pad. And she's not moving away from my hand anymore like she was, so progress. Okay, massage all done, and now I'm going to use my tasty treats to do some baited stretches and to reward her for her leg stretches. So now she's nice and warm, like a massage and supple, I like to do the stretches. I use the refillable pouches and just put them back in this bucket, and this bucket lives in the stable, so I can do it after every ride. Estrid, at first, when I started doing beta stretches, she had no idea what treats were, so it was really tricky to get her to do them, but she's actually really good at them now. So next up, some stretching. Good girl. A bit sore. Where did that one go? We lost it. We lost it. Try that one again. It's here. There you go. Okay. Oh, there it is. Found it. Walk forward a bit. Walk forward. Walk on. Come on, Estrid. And again. A bit lower. Then out to the side. Good girl. You've got much better at getting them. She used to almost eat my hand before, didn't you? Almost used to eat my hand before, but now she's got way better at them. Wait. Good girl, good stretch. Wait. Good girl. Okay, stretch is done. Probably Estrid's favourite bit, isn't it? Because you get to eat extra foods, snacks. Anyone would think you're a gelding because you. Thanks for that, Estrid. Thanks. Oh, I feel like that's all over my face now. I'm just dusty and covered in hair and Estrid food slobber. Next up, I'm going to use a cooling gel. There's arnica and witch hazel in it. I know the scientific jury is out as to whether it does anything, but it doesn't do any harm. So I'm going to use this down her tendons. Yes. Are you ready for a bit of cooling gel? If it does nothing, it doesn't matter. If it improves her by 0.01%, worth it. Oh, it's even blue, so it looks cooling, Estrid. She's like, oh, that is disgusting. Disgusting. I know it is actually really cold, isn't it? I'm dropping half of it. I just want to put this in as a caveat. As a human physio, I would use cooling gel as an added extra, never instead of or just by itself of compression and icing. So I've already cold hosed her leg. I do have some ice boots, Estrid, but you've never had any on, so we'll probably start getting her used to ice boots over the next few days so she can, I mean, it's a good skill anyway because we're going to be using them in vet gates, hopefully. Yes, hopefully. But just wanted to say I use it as an adjunct, not as a sole treatment. So I've cold hosed. When I get her used to the ice boots, she'll have cryo compression. And that is the kind of gold standard treatment for kind of soft tissue injuries, not just using lotions and potions. Just thought I'd say that. It's an adjunct as long as it does no harm and it's on top of what should be good gold standard care. I'm cool with it. Okay, little pamper session over. Waterproof rug back on. She is slightly better today actually than she was yesterday, which is good. It is probably, my differential diagnosis is she's pulled a tendon in her left paw. So we'll see how that goes. I actually feel okay about it. I feel much better than I have done in previous injuries, I think, because I've had more practice at this now, of like the disappointment of not getting somewhere and just like that anguish when your horse is injured. Like, you just don't want them to be sore, and you don't want it to go on for ages, and you want them to be okay. So I've had a lot of practice at that. I am going to still turn her out, even though it is disgusting. If she isn't recovering well in the next kind of week, then I think what we'll do is maybe stable her and see if she'll behave in the stable. I know it's Moddy, sweetheart. Come here. Come here. Wait. I know you're so good. Off you go. So that whole routine takes me about between 45 minutes and an hour and a quarter to do. Worth it. And with my human athletes, they get like 3 treatments a day, every day, until they're back competing and they're back at full top fitness. And the more you know someone, how their joints move, what is normal for them, how their muscles normally feel, the better you are at gauging if they're okay or not. And I feel the same about my horses. The more hands-on I am, the more I can feel like slight improvements or not improvements, them getting worse or anything. So it's well worth the time spent. I would actually quite like to go on a equine body worker course maybe, or like a supplementary course for kind of equine massage skills and assessment, just for my own personal use. I don't want to do it as a job, but maybe that's something to look into for 2024 winter, or if Estrid is out for longer, I could do that instead of training her, who knows. But yeah, fingers crossed for her. And it's just, we're on plan B now, which actually, that's not bad. We've made it to March on plan A, so, and she's been sound for the last 2 years, no issues, which is actually incredible. So this one little blip, hopefully, is just a little blip, and we'll still have a lovely 2024 season. Come on.